Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us is Ben Jones. He's a Product Development Specialist with the Index Research Team at Nasdaq with an update on constituent changes and performance in the Nasdaq-100. Ben, it's great to have you with us to wrap up the week. And we only had one constituent change.
We did, yeah, and it's an interesting one, and I think one that, hits home, especially what everyone has experienced really across the country and the world over the last 2 months. So we saw a component change yesterday. Willis Towers Watson was removed from the Nasdaq-100, and it was replaced with Zoom Video Technologies, right? And you think of Zoom, it's now a household name. We're using it right now on this call. It's even become a verb, right? When your grandmother is saying, hey, Ben, let's Zoom tonight, have a video conference so you can, chat and talk about what everyone's been doing. So yeah, it's another innovative company that is, representing kind of the Nasdaq-100 and moving into this index. And it's certainly been an interesting and a timely one, considering the day and age where everyone is, quote unquote, Zooming.
Yeah, it also reminds me of go Google this, or I need a Kleenex. It's interesting to see how quickly it has become a synonym for what we use every day now. Let's talk about performance with the Nasdaq-100, because that really has been the highlight over the past couple of weeks. In fact, it's green on the year.
That's right. Yeah, if you just think about the Nasdaq-100 today and kind of, what it represents, right? It's predominantly, technology, consumer services, healthcare, industrials. And that's really where the strength has been in the market this year. And, we saw the Nasdaq-100 really rebound last month, right, in April. In fact, it was the best month for the Nasdaq-100 really since October 2002. So April, 2020, bested, September 2010 when we saw the Nasdaq-100 up over, 13%. April 2009 when the Nasdaq-100 rebounded off of that, March 2009 low, it was about, 12.72%. So to close in April, close of yesterday essentially, the Nasdaq-100 was up about 15.19% in that month. So a strong month for the Nasdaq-100, but it's also a strong month for just the market in general, right? If you look at some of the other major market benchmarks, they posted some stellar returns, and like the S&P 100 was up about over 12.5%. So it's a good sign for the general market, and and we're seeing some breadth too. That's something that we talked about last week, and we're continuing to see that carry over within the Nasdaq-100, where over half of the Nasdaq-100 stocks are outperforming let's say the S&P 100. So there is some positive performance there. But I think one concern though, Jill, is that we get a lot of questions about seasonality, right? We've with the close of April, the best month for the Nasdaq-100. That old adage comes back, right? Sell in May and go away, excuse me. There's oftentimes some truth to that. You see, typically weak returns in the weak season, right? Which is that, May through October time period. But what's interesting is that you don't really see that for the Nasdaq-100. So if you look at, let's say, the past 20 years, the Nasdaq-100 has averaged about plus 0.6% in both periods, strong seasons and weak seasons. The S&P 100, on the other hand, really outperforms in that strong period, which is typically November through the end of April, where it's up about 0.7%. In the weak period, it's only up about 0.1. So the good news is, I think for those following the Nasdaq-100, is that even though we're entering the quote unquote weak seasonal period for the stock market, it's typically a period where the Nasdaq-100, does pretty well.
All right, Ben. Thanks for wrapping up the week with us as always. And thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.